Episode 4, Peering Beyond the Real. First, preparations for the trial. The following morning, the group reconvened in the sealed laboratory ward designed for Dormaline trials. Commander Pierce observed from behind a one-way glass panel. Dr. Roth oversaw the medical apparatus, assisted by a pair of somber-looking paramedics who appeared more military than civilian. Meredith, Miles, Jamie, Dan, and Carlos were each seated on hospital-style beds, separated by privacy curtains, but close enough to see and hear one another. They wore cotton scrubs and were wired to heart rate monitors and EEG electrodes. The overhead fluorescents hummed softly, providing a stark contrast to the raw intensity they were about to face. Dr. Roth addressing them calmly. Remember, this is a sub-threshold dose, but sub-threshold with Dormaline can still be intense. It will be administered via a micro-infused inhaler to ensure precise dosing. You may experience synesthesia, time dilation, and a sense of presence. Relax and let the compound flow through you. Fight it, and panic can ensue. Jamie swallowed hard. She could feel her heart pounding in her chest. What am I doing? She thought. But it was too late to back out now. The masked technician came by with a small metallic inhaler for each of them. One by one they pressed it to their lips and inhaled. The vapor tasted faintly of bitter citrus and metal. 2. The onset. At first, nothing. Then slowly, each experienced an intensifying warmth coursing through their body. Meredith felt the bed beneath her dissolve into a million tiny, shimmering points of light. Dan noticed the beeping of his heart rate monitor turning into a visual pattern floating in the air. Jamie's sense of hearing expanded so drastically that she perceived the blood pumping through her own veins as a roaring river. Miles stared at the ceiling, but the sterile tiles melted away to reveal what looked like an endless black sky filled with swirling galaxies. He blinked, and the ceiling was back. Only it was also not back. He could see through it, as though layers of reality overlapped. Miles, voice trembling. Oh, my God. In the adjacent bed, Carlos mumbled something about electromagnetic fractals. His words drifted through the room, leaving trails of color in the air. The medical staff observed carefully, noting EEG changes. The waveforms displayed unusual bursts of high-frequency activity in the gamma range, previously documented in advanced meditators, but here pushed to extremes. 3. Breaking through the threshold. What the team didn't realize was that sub-threshold for Dormaline still verged on the cosmic. Within minutes, they sensed a presence, like a collective consciousness enveloping them. It felt benevolent, yet utterly alien. Time fractured. Some glimpsed childhood memories superimposed on the lab, others soared through distant star systems. Jamie saw an intricate geometric structure blossoming in front of her, each side containing a scene from her life. Birthdays, heartbreaks, triumphs, regrets. The structure then folded in on itself like an origami puzzle, leaving behind an overwhelming sense of unity. Jamie, gasping, it's all connected. Everything. The illusions of separation. Illusions. Meredith felt as though she was conversing with the mycelial network of the planet. She sensed the heartbeat of the island itself, roots beneath the soil, living intelligence in the plants, the swirling synergy of weather patterns. She tried to articulate it, but her words emerged as fragmented poetry. Dan encountered something akin to cosmic code, lines of shimmering symbols describing the fundamental equations of reality. He saw prime numbers dancing with pi, fractals embedding into fractals, as though the universe was a self-programming algorithm. He began laughing uncontrollably, the sheer beauty overwhelming him. Dan, it's all math. The entire cosmos is an unfolding equation. We're part of it, oh dear. It's so beautiful. Miles felt as if he had ascended to a vantage point outside normal space-time. He perceived the island as a node in a larger network of energies. He sensed that the storms, The fog, even the illusions that had concealed the island, were manifestations of a deeper field, a protective cloak that responded to the collective consciousness of those who approached. Miles, hoarsely whispering, "Mount Analogue. Daumal was right. It's more than physical. It's a threshold to another level of perception." Carlos's experience was no less radical. He envisioned the entire Earth's electromagnetic field as swirling ribbons of colored light. He saw how this island's unique resonance created a bubble that interfered with GPS satellites and perhaps even normal cognitive filters. The synergy between the plant's alkaloid and the island's electromagnetic anomaly formed a veil of secrecy at a fundamental level. Fourth, medical intervention and aftermath. After about 30 minutes, the staff administered a mild sedative to begin grounding them. The meltdown of ordinary senses receded, leaving them drenched in sweat, hearts pounding, minds whirling. Dr. Roth monitored them closely, ensuring no one spiraled into psychosis. As the sedation took hold, each returned to a functional state, albeit forever changed. When the medical staff finally declared them stable, the group was allowed to gather in a recovery ward. Sitting in a circle, they exchanged stunned looks, each struggling to put into words the intangible revelations they had experienced. Miles. I saw everything as if it was made of these layers of meaning. I can't describe it. Meredith. The island is alive, more alive than anything I've ever felt. It's like a living consciousness that's part of Earth, but also beyond it. Jamie. We're connected. All of us. Humans, plants, animals. This plant just rips away the usual filters. Oh God, we've been so blind. They fell silent, each grappling with the sense that the everyday world they left behind was a mere sliver of reality. Now they had glimpsed the underpinnings of existence, a realm of energies, patterns, and unity. Part of them longed to integrate this revelation into their normal lives, while another part feared they never could. 5. Forbidden knowledge. Commander Pierce and Dr. Roth came to debrief them later in the day. The group was physically exhausted, emotionally drained, but intellectually aflame. Commander Pierce. Now you see why we keep this island off the maps. Can you imagine if this compound leaked to the masses? Civilizations might collapse under the weight of mass enlightenment, or confusion and chaos. No government can risk that. Dr. Roth. We don't fully understand the phenomenon ourselves. Our attempts to weaponize or control it led nowhere good. Instead, we maintain a long-term study. Slow, careful. Miles frowned. That's a big moral choice you've made for the entire world. Commander Pierce, shrugging. It's above my pay grade, but we do what we must. Jamie recalled how the words, "Once these doors of perception are open, one is forever changed," had rung through her mind. The island's secret weighed heavily on her. She scribbled notes in her diary when no one was watching, though the NDA forbade it. She couldn't let such a monumental experience vanish unrecorded. 6. The team's debate. They returned to the living quarters they'd been assigned, Spartan rooms with cots and locked windows. Over a meal of bland rations, they conferred in hushed voices. Dan. They'll let us leave eventually, right, after we sign even more papers promising silence. Meredith. Most likely. The question is, do we abide by that silence, or do we risk everything to share this with the world? Jamie. If it could awaken humanity to a deeper reality, but also it could unleash chaos. Imagine black market Dalmaline, total psychosis in the wrong hands. Miles sat quietly, staring at his hands. He struggled with the tension between academic freedom and the ethical implications of releasing a substance capable of shattering minds. The sense of wonder from his experience clashed with the grim reality that some truths might be too dangerous. 7. Rumblings of discontent. Unbeknownst to the group, not everyone in the facility agreed with the official stance. Late that evening, a young researcher named Dr. Annalise Breen slipped into their quarters, scanning the hallway for guards before shutting the door behind her. Dr. Breen, hurried whisper. I had to speak with you. I've been here for 5 years, and I can't keep quiet anymore. This research, keeping it secret, feels like a sin against humanity. Miles, surprised. You want this exposed? Dr. Breen, I don't know if total exposure is right. But the current approach, hoarding knowledge, covertly testing on soldiers, it's unethical. We've discovered a window into the fundamental nature of consciousness. This shouldn't belong to any single nation's military. She passed them a small flash drive. Dr. Breen, this contains my personal notes, data we're not supposed to share. Backup it somewhere safe. If anything happens to me, promise you'll consider letting the truth out. The group exchanged uneasy glances. They barely had the means to hide such a drive under the facility's surveillance, but they took it anyway. Jamie stashed it in her sock, her heart pounding with the weight of conspiracy. Dr. Breen slipped away into the shadows. 8. Strange fugues. Over the next few days, each member of the expedition experienced aftershocks of the dormaline dose, sudden flashes of insight, brief hallucinations, or episodes of time distortion. Meredith found herself locked in a momentary trance, hearing the rhythmic thrum of the island's electromagnetic pulse echo in her mind. Dan sometimes saw mathematical symbols hovering in midair. Carlos woke at night with the sensation of being underwater, sensing ocean currents swirling through his limbs. Miles retreated into introspection, feeling an ever-growing conviction that there was a profound purpose to this island. Mount Analogue, he thought, wasn't just a metaphor. It was a literal vantage point for bridging worlds. Was the US government effectively stifling humanity's spiritual and scientific evolution by keeping it under wraps? Yet the question haunted him. Would the world even be ready for such knowledge? 9. The secret briefing. On the 4th day after their Darmaline experience, the group was summoned to a high-security conference room. Commander Pierce and a handful of stern-faced men and women in suits, likely high-level intelligence officials, waited for them. Suit number 1. We've evaluated the situation. You've seen things that are, let's say, well above standard clearance levels. We need your absolute compliance. You'll leave here under armed escort and return to the mainland. But your cooperation is mandatory. No talk of what you witnessed, no records kept. Suit number 2, pointing to them in turn. Failure to comply will result in immediate reclassification of your status. Understand? The group nodded, though none of them felt truly willing to comply. They could sense the intimidation tactics, illusions of choice, heavy consequences if they strayed. Commander Pierce observed them with a tinge of sympathy. Commander Pierce, for what it's worth, I'm sorry. You came seeking an island that the rest of the world can't know about. Now that you've found it, we can't just let you be, but we'll try to keep your academic careers intact as long as you abide by our terms. Miles clenched his jaw. He realized how powerless they were in the face of an apparatus that had quietly molded the island into a fortress of secrecy for decades. Yet he also felt that knowledge was a force that couldn't be contained forever. 10. Return to the ship. By sunset, they were escorted to the Calliope under the watchful eyes of armed guards. The soldier from before, who had captured them in the jungle, now followed them onto the deck to ensure no last-minute attempts to flee. Commander Pierce stood at the dock, delivering final instructions. Commander Pierce, a naval ship will rendezvous with you in international waters. They'll escort you back to a US port. From there, you'll be on your own, so long as you keep silent. Miles. And if we don't? Commander Pierce, quietly. I think you know the answer. The engines rumbled as the Calliope pulled away, slicing through the fog-laden waters. The island receded behind them, still shrouded in mystery and swirling mists. None of them spoke for a while. It felt like leaving a part of their very souls behind. Finally, Jamie broke the silence. Jamie, I never imagined it would end like this. Are we just going to pretend we never saw any of it? Meredith, we might not have a choice, but we do have Dr. Breen's data. That's something. Dan, yeah, something that could make us targets if we even hint at releasing it. Miles exhaled, staring at the horizon where the island had vanished. The Dormaline revelations still pulsed through his mind. No matter how much time passed, he suspected he would never fully return to the map of reality he once knew.